recording. We are a go. So this is the last meeting in October. We're Zoom, and really excited to see you all. And again, I wanted to send our best wishes to everybody who is without power, because we had several members chime in saying, I have no power. Like, hey, but she made it. But several people couldn't do that because they have nothing. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you for coming. Just a couple of quick announcements. As I mentioned earlier, we plan to be live again in 2 weeks. I think the date is November 10th at Randy Peters Catering. So be sure to register. Right now, the price for Randy Peters is going to go up, primarily because they've had some expenses because of the COVID shutdown, and they have agreed to keep the pricing the same, which I really appreciate, for the first meeting in which we have in November. In December, it will go up, and so we'll be able to kind of let you know what that is. But for November, it will be $18 if you pre-register by Friday, just like before. Jamie.
Will you also be doing Zoom?
We are going to try. And again, you know, if you've been on the Zoom calls, we've had some techie issues. I don't know if it's a bandwidth thing at PWN. We actually had John Meldrum, who's a videographer from my other networking group there, and he still had the same problems I had when I was trying to handle it on my own. Renee's son, because he's been running her studio for the Silver Lining Network, may be able to help. But I think, and we haven't had a board call on this yet, okay, we'll probably need to discuss this, is my feeling is we're not going to charge for the Zoom people. We're going to say, come, because this is going to be the board election. So that's, you know, again, you can vote before the meeting, but it'd be great to have you there. But I don't know if we'll lose you again. We've tried, but we have had technical difficulty. So the answer is yes, but the other side of it is we can't guarantee that you'll be able to be there for the whole meeting because we've had issues in the past.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So the other thing that we're talking about doing at that meeting is having trade tables. Because it's the month before the holidays, I really wanted to give those businesses that had products that would be good for holiday gifting and that kind of thing, have a table. Doesn't mean that those of you who don't have holiday gifting items can't have a table, but that was the priority. We're in discussion. You know, I'll ask this as a kind of a general feel, because I was at my other networking group had a meeting in last Wednesday for the first time. And there was not a lot of social distancing. I practiced it because I have taken care of my 91-year-old mom, but there was a lot of interaction and not necessarily ignoring the rules, but not a lot of following them either. So there's been discussion about making this meeting public because it's going to be a trade table thing. Hey, you know, we've discussed, yeah, I'm kind of the same mind, is we only have 2 weeks to plan. And Lorraine really wanted to make this fun and have the public there. And I'm thinking it's kind of too early for that.
No.
So
Definitely.
yeah, so I got an email from her. She couldn't make it to this call because she's working right now, but I wanted to take it to the board. So my feeling is we'll have a live meeting. We're going to have trade tables if you want to have one. We're gonna talk to the board about public, not public, but I'm leaning not public, and it looks like Hayes kind of following my lead. So because it doesn't send the right message. If we'd been live for 3 months, okay, yeah, let's try something. But this is our first live meeting in 7 months, and I want to keep it simple and not complicate it with other kinds of concerns. Does anybody have any comments or thoughts about that?
If it's public, I definitely will not be there. I just think that because we're going through another wave of this, that I think it behooves everybody to protect themselves as much as possible.
And I don't want, and Randy Peters would have accommodated that, I believe, but I don't want to jeopardize their, you know, capability of being open. I don't know if you've been there since the closure. They've done so much. It's beautiful. They opened their new restaurant, which was kind of on the works before they had to shut down. They've turned the parking, so where they were having the parking redone, they've actually put an enclosed tent with heaters and stuff. So it's beautiful. I'm really excited about being able to go back there. But my consensus, and it sounds like yours, is that, yeah, keeping it simple and not public would be a better call. So I'll pass that on to the board. Okay, so that 11:50, let's get started. I am so excited to have Shelley here because I was on the call that Renee hosted a few weeks ago. Has it been a month? And I was so impressed by what I learned and how she's approaching this whole idea of making sure that you look your best on a Zoom call, because we've never been taught that before. We never had to worry about that before, but now it's becoming so important. And again, learning how to present yourself well in Zoom and make the most of it is something that Shelley's going to teach us. So I am going to relinquish control to Shelley. Shelley, introduce yourself however you want to handle it. I'm excited about this. Let's give her a hand.
Okay, thank you. This is super great. I just want to, first of all, find out how many of you have actually like really tried to make yourself look good on Zoom?
A little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Tiny,
Okay.
tiny.
So we're going to talk about that. But I wanted to give you a little bit of background about me, so you kind of understand where I'm coming from and how I got to this place, and how I came up with this, because I didn't think about it. It's one of those things that just happened. So I am a personal branding image consultant. I have been doing this my entire adult life, on and off, in the United States, in Europe, and in the Middle East. I lived in Amsterdam and Abu Dhabi for 15 years. I actually studied textiles in college. I'm a costume historian. I used to teach history of costume at a fashion design school, worked at a museum with a historical costume collection. I designed and made costumes for theater, which I just love that. I'm a certified color consultant, so I'm really particular about what colors you wear. I work with men and women. This is what I do. This is what kind of turns me on, and I just love doing. So at the beginning of COVID, I was going to be doing a workshop with somebody that was supposed to be in person, and I had met her in February. And we set a date to start talking about it, which was like March 18th. I'm like, oh, I guess we're going to be doing something online, whatever that is. And I'm like, oh, well, I could help people look, their best, what I call in the box. So you're going to hear me referring to how you look in your little Hollywood Squares box. And that's how it started. And what I've done is I've come up with a 5-step process for a Zoom makeover, is what I call it. And I'm going to share with you kind of going through the 5 steps. And I have a lot of before and afters. So to give you ideas and tricks, and then afterwards we can do a little Q&A and a little tweak here and a tweak there. How does that sound? Okay, so let me share my screen. And slideshow. And start from the beginning. Okay, and I am going to take your pictures away so I can't see you, so I'm not distracted. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. So the name of my company is Shelley Golden Style, and I told you what I do, so that this is my new business. I am the new Zoom makeover guru. And I've been working with individuals and companies literally across the country, which is pretty exciting. And I'm going to be working with somebody in Canada and India. So that's super exciting. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can up-level your screen presence. And again, it's all of you in the box. That first impression that really makes a difference. And this is a Zoom makeover. This is a before and after of a client of mine. She's a vice president at Intel. And the premise of what I do is I help your clients engage with you. And build a better rapport so they can feel closer to you, build a better rapport, gain trustworthy, become more trustworthy. And that's what you see here. And I'll come back to this because even though, okay, it looks like this, but you don't see everything behind the scenes that went on. So we're going to come back to that. But that's just an example of what I can help you do. So the 5 steps to a Zoom makeover are camera angle. You know, where is the camera looking? Is the camera looking up your nose, up at the ceiling, down at the floor? Lighting is the second thing. And that is the first thing everybody notices. People notice, are you in the light? Are you in the dark? Do you have light on half your face? Do you have light behind you? That's super important. We're going to talk quite a bit about that. We're also going to talk about background. What does your background say about you? Also, what color clothing looks best on you in the space you're in? Because yes, it needs to look good on you, but if you're sitting in front of dark furniture, that's one thing. If you're sitting in front of a white wall, that's another thing. So we'll talk about that. And then lastly, what I call Zoom specific makeup, because it's not street makeup and it's not stage makeup. But the one thing at the beginning of COVID, so I'm used to working with clients in person. That's what I really love doing. And so all of a sudden to be sitting at a computer all day, every day, was really taxing on my neck, especially since I have a 25-year traumatic neck injury that has like plagued me for the last 25 years. So I really promote sitting ergonomically correctly in your chair, you know, sitting at right angles, sitting back. But what I want you to notice is the dotted line between the eye and the camera. It's a straight line. And that's what we're trying to achieve. We want to have a straight line so that your neck and your posture and your back is really in the best possible position. So I found this visual on the web and I thought, wow, this is great. Everybody is so well lit. And I thought this is a prime example of what we're aiming for, besides that it really looks like they're on the Hollywood squares. Number one, the first thing you notice is that everybody's face, for the most part, is well lit. You can equally see the left side and the right side of most of their faces, which really helps you engage with this person. The next thing is, notice that there's literally just a tiny bit of space over their head, and that their eyes are in the top third of the box, and that their armpits are at the bottom of the box. Personally, I like the bottom part of your armpit as opposed to the top part. And this is so that people can see more of your torso so they can read your nonverbal cues, because that's what we're missing on Zoom. And we'll talk more about that as well. So let's go through the 5 steps. And step 1 is camera angle. What you don't want is someone to be looking at the ceiling. So if we are looking at the ceiling, that means this person, this woman, is looking down at her computer, which is on her desktop. But it doesn't feel natural. What I'm aiming for is that it feels like we're all sitting at the same table and we're just having a conversation. That's what I'm aiming for. So you want, again, the camera to be eye level. So I was on a meeting with this guy and it's like, really? Do I have to look up your nose and under your chin? It was the most uncomfortable situation. And looking at the ceiling, and also it was a little bit dizzying after a while, because you just kind of want to tilt your head and move so that you can see him at a better angle. So very clearly, the computer was down on the desk and he was looking down on it. I was on a call with this guy and you're like, really? You know, do I have to like look at him in the corner with, you know, the light was really not, you know, was reflecting off of his face. And it just, again, it doesn't feel good, but you see this all the time. People are so in love with their virtual backgrounds. And I'm going to talk a little bit about virtual backgrounds. You know, if you're going to do something like this, you want to position it again so that you are front and center. The background is the background. So here's the opposite situation. So many people have cameras that they're attaching to the top of their monitors or their computers, or that it's just that just the way their monitor or their computer situation that the camera's looking down on top of their head. Now, for women who are coloring their hair, you're going to be seeing that skunk line, front and center. Not ideal. You also here are looking down at her leopard carpet. It just doesn't feel good. Again, I'm aiming for that it feels like we're just all sitting at the same table, looking at each other with the same proportion. So if you need to raise up your laptop, so you can use boxes, you can use books, that's great, but here's an option that I really like. It's a laptop stand. Here's 3 different brands. You can, get them on Amazon. But this particular one that they show on the right that I have here is the Boyata. And the thing that I think is great about it is that the base, which is quite heavy, takes up less space on your desk than your actual computer. But you will probably need to get an external keyboard because you don't want to be typing in this odd position. But it'll raise your computer up. It'll go up and down. It also kind of goes more vertical. So if you need to put an iPad on it, you can put the iPad and stand it up in a vertical position. So step 2, let's talk about lighting. So as I said, lighting is the first thing everybody sees. And when I was looking around at everybody, I can definitely say everybody needs a little bit of assistance in lighting. So after this, I will go through some lights that I think and position how I think they might work for you. But check out what I have here. You might be able to get some information. So you basically want the light to come from in front of you. So many people are sitting with windows behind them. That's not ideal. You also want to make sure if you do have, you don't want just the computer light, and you want to make sure you have light in the back room, the background, the room behind you, so that it doesn't feel like this nano techno lighting. Again, it doesn't feel good. It's hard to look at this for an extended period of time. So this was a woman, she participated in a workshop that I was giving. And this was her before shot in front of her window, but this is her desk. This is how her desk is positioned. Middle of the afternoon, but what you cannot tell is that actually she has a bright green sweater on, which you can't tell at all. So lots of work after everything. Actually, this is the after picture. We hung up a screen, we adjusted the lighting. She needed to tweak the lighting over her head, but you could see even the clothing she is wearing works with her in the space that she's in. And that's what I tried to bring out. This is another client that I was on a call with. Again, you could see she doesn't have any lighting in front of her. All the lighting is behind her. So therefore she looks like she's in the dark. So I had advised her, turn the chandelier off, take that lamp, bring it on the other side of you, at least in the short run, so that you have some light on your left and the window was on her right. But I also advised her that she absolutely needed a small light in front of her to shine on her face, so you don't get this kind of eerie feeling. What's ideal is if you have a window in front of you. That's always the best situation. Of course, not everybody has it, but the light coming through the windows has the full spectrum of colors. So it's really the most beautiful light on your skin. And again, you want to make sure the room is lit up, because then you get this light on your face, but maybe the back of the room is dark. And again, it feels a little bit techno depending upon the lighting and the situation. So here are a couple different lights that you could buy that I recommend. So let's take a look at the one on the left. So this is a small ring light that you can purchase. This particular one has dual lights, which is great because most of them are single. It's a 4-inch ring light. So that's what you would look for. And the thing that's great about it, it has warm, neutral, and cool light. So that depending upon the time of day, the lighting in your room, you can change the color of the light on your skin, and it really makes a difference. Now let's look at the one on the right. There's a couple of things I want to kind of share with you here, some information besides just the light itself. So the thing I like about this particular light, and I'm not sure how it's pronounced. It looks like ear. And I lived in Amsterdam for 10 years and speak Dutch. And the Dutch word for egg is eier. So it's almost spelled exactly the same thing. So it might be it's a Dutch derivative, but this is a 6-inch ring light. It's on an extendable stand that you could actually put on the floor because it extends up to 50 inches, which is great. Another thing I want you to take note of is notice the position of the light. It is above her eye level, shining a little bit down on her face. And this actually softens your face a little bit as well. So that is one thing that you really want. You don't want the light straight in front of you. You want it on the side. Now take a look at the hands on the clock. They're at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Easy way to remember, when you are positioning lights, any lights, if it's your desk lamp, if it's one of these lights, you want to position them at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock so that the light passes over the left side of your face and the right side of your face. And you don't get reflections in your glasses or your eyes. So that's the beauty of being able to place the different lights at different angles. Some people have a small desk, so maybe they need a floor lamp. So this is one, and there are so many. You could always go on Amazon. This is another one. This one's battery operated. I just learned, because I've actually seen it, but I've seen it with the suction cup on the back of the monitor, just like you see here, that it also comes with a stand that you could put over on your left or your right. So again, this has warm, neutral, cool. This is also a great light. Now, this is my light, and this is my super hack, super tip that I do with so many different people that I'm working with. I put fuchsia and yellow Post-its over my lights. Why? Because the light coming from the computer, is this blue light and everybody looks a little bit washed out. And so to compensate the blue, the gray look that you get on your skin, by taking the fuchsia and the bright yellow, if you mix it together, it creates a peachy color. And that's what I'm trying to do, is bring back the peachy color of your skin. And it doesn't matter whether you're dark skinned or light skinned, it still works for everybody. Sometimes you might want more yellow or more pink, but this is a great and easy tip. You could also put a scarf or fabric over a larger light. Again, is the pinky yellow family, peachy color works great. So now that I've kind of told you a few of my little tips, let me just walk through what I did with the lighting with this client of mine. So right away, you can see the camera angle. We tweaked that. That's easy to see. But the lighting, I did 3 things. The first thing, to get rid of that incredible glare, which was just ever present, I had her take 3 pieces of white printer paper and she just taped it in the window. That's it. That did the trick. So the light coming through is still the same as the light from the window behind her. What you don't see are 2 things. One, there's a 3rd window in front of her. And in that she put, it was, I don't know, her kids' school art project on pink construction paper. So she has this, I don't know, large piece of pink construction paper in this window in front of her, but you could see her skin tone looks more natural. It's a little pinkier looking, and it just feels nicer. And she actually took this screenshot maybe 5 days later, because I actually had her order one of the single ring lights, the small ones, that's on her right cheek. So this way we're balancing out the light from the window, the natural light from the window versus the artificial light on her right cheek. And I might advise her coming into winter that she might need to get an additional light, because if we're going to be starting early morning meetings, you're going to be in the dark. And again, then you're going to have 1 light before the sunlight comes up. So that's something that we talk about. But you could also see the room doesn't look so cavernous. It looks a little more intimate. And so actually she liked to wear printed blouses, and I'm like, no printed blouses in front of the striped banister. So I do advise on clothing, and I'll talk about solid color clothing. But let's go to step 3. What does your background say about you? I mean, who do you want to be? How do you want people to see you? Are you the artist? Okay, you're the artist. But the most important thing is that people see you first. Unlike this picture, the first thing people see is this incredible red, and he is taking up a small amount of space. So let's take a look at this image. What is the very first thing that you see? So I was on a call with this woman and I thought, wow, this woman has it totally dialed in. She gets it. She knows how to position herself. When I look at her, the first thing I see is her face. It is taking up a lot of real estate. It is front, it is center. She has a lovely face. It is well lit, left and right. The second thing I see, my eye goes kind of down her cleavage and I see this kind of teal colored top, which is the same color as her eyes. So it really draws me to her whole person. And notice the bottom of her armpits are at the bottom of the box. So I can see her torso. I could see her nonverbal cues if she were to move around. And also I could see a little more of her hands. So that is what's great. But it's kind of interesting because if you look, you don't really know where she's sitting. She's not sitting at a table. She's not sitting at a desk. It almost looks like she's just standing or sitting at the edge of the table or the edge of her sofa. It's quite interesting. But check this out. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry about that. If you look on the left of the screen, you see the window on the left. There's the blinds. And then the next window, there's more blinds. It's in a line. And then there's the wood on the top of the door. And if you follow that from left to right, it takes you, it's like an arrow leading right to her face. And the same thing on the top right, the blinds, a little bit on an angle. It's the only other dark thing. It's like an arrow pointing to her face, which is, again, it's a way to bring it in. Now, in terms of background, what do I like about this? I'm a big promoter, as Renee knows. I love having plants in your visual. So you do get to see the green trees on the right. You see they're tall, but then she has this shorter white, I guess they're orchids on the table, and they blend in, but you could see them, and the combination of the trees and the flowers just gives it a softer line as opposed to these hard angles that are around her. Now, if those flowers were red, it would be distracting. If they were a bright color, they would be distracting. But by being this white, it's very soft, but you absolutely see them. So that's why I feel that this is a beautiful example of what works. It's also clean and there's nothing distracting that you focus in on her. So this picture, the light is a little too intense on her face in her glasses. It looks like she has a spotlight on her face. The background I've always felt is a little too distracting. You know, when I look on the right, when I was talking to her, my eyes just kept like moving back over to the right. What is that on the right? Like, okay, is this her kids' art project? What is it? What's on the left? Is that her marketing calendar? I couldn't quite figure it out. So I felt like this was always just a little bit too distracting. So here's another client of mine that I just wanted to kind of walk through. And again, what did we do with the background? Yes, it is actually the same room, and it is 90 minutes later after I did an individual Zoom makeover with this woman. So she's a dietitian. I always like to know what people do, so I know how people look at her and who she's talking to. So as a dietitian, she's normally in a hospital office, clean, pristine, pretty basic. So you can see right away, we're looking on top of her head at the carpet, and there's all these odd shapes on the left. And like looking at that thing on the left, like, what is that thing on the left? And as I found out, it's a light fixture. And I'm like, okay, move it out of the way. She told me that the light coming through that window was so intense And I said, okay, well, we need to find something to maybe cover it. And I don't know, it was luck of the draw. She came back with this painting out of her closet that fit perfectly in the windowsill. It's like, wow, that was great. We then moved the leather chair over that was behind her over under the window, and we upholstered it with the backside of a duvet cover that she had in her linen closet, which matched perfectly to the painting. Threw a pillow on it, straightened up the bookshelf, put some lipstick on, and the only thing that she really needed was a light on her left cheek that you could see. You can engage with her more. She has a better rapport that you can build with her and feel as though she's more trustworthy than looking down on top of her, that she looks more approachable. And that's what I try to do. Here's another client of mine that I worked with. This woman's an executive coach. And you could see from the before and after that, again, she is front and center. The light is on her. The window is closed. But there's two things I want to point out. First of all, the vase of flowers. In her before shot, she had this black ceramic vase on dark furniture and with the white flowers that you can kind of see. But just by changing the vase to a clear glass vase that you could see more of that green, that beautiful green, makes all the difference. Additionally, I had her change the painting on the wall. Well, she suggested that she had something else. So that was great because in the before, that initial picture had glass on it. And you really don't want to have anything with glass on it that'll reflect the light that you have that's shining on you. So those are a couple of things that you can do to soften things up and bring the attention to you. But you could also see her positioning. You could see more of her torso. So she is more front and center and approachable. Here's another client of mine that I work with. He's also a styling client and also a Zoom makeover client. This gentleman is a financial advisor. He's always very well dressed. But we did a couple of things in his home office to make him more of the focal point. First of all, the plant on the left, I actually had him turn it 180 degrees because our eyes read from left to right. So if we see the plant on the left, then we go up to the right and it acts like an arrow pointing to his eyes, which is really what you want. Also notice the books. Actually, his bookshelf was a little bit of a mess. The top was all storage. We changed that, we cleaned it up. But the books are more or less from tall on the far left to short, closer to his eyes. So again, it's acting like another arrow. Look at his eyes from left to right. So these are ways to create more engagement. Additionally, he had on a navy blazer, which looked black, so that he faded into the background. And by putting on this brighter blue, he is front and center, that you notice that blue. And you can, again, see his torso, see his nonverbal body language, which really helps you feel like he's sitting on the other side of the table. And so I just actually added this in. This is a client that I worked with. She had a physical virtual background. It's literally something hanging behind her, a virtual background that's hiding whatever is behind there. And you could see in the before, that's how I got on the call with her. Her lighting was already really good, but it was a little bit dizzying, you know, kind of looking up under her chin, and you could actually see the ceiling over the virtual background. That white part on the top is the ceiling. And, you know, and she was giving a presentation the next day. So 90 minutes later, poof, here we go on the right. And what I did is of course, the first thing you could see, which took a long time, is we adjusted her camera angle because we needed to raise it almost a foot. We also brought in this bookshelf, which she had just used as storage. So we put some books on it to look like an active bookshelf. And we actually brought in this plant, which is an artificial plant, but we brought in this plant that we put in front of the virtual backdrop, again, to make it look a little more realistic. And I told her, You need to stand in front of the window, haha, the window, so it looks like you're trying to block the light. Otherwise, people's eyes will immediately go to that white and light. So this is something that you can do as well. Bring in artificial, real elements into another space. I'm gonna just kind of skip over that one. All right, so let's go to clothing. What color clothing looks best on you in your surroundings, in the space that you're in? So for the most part, I say no white, no black. So the camera, the Zoom camera on our computers, it picks up white and light first. That's the first thing. If you take even your smart camera and you're going to go take a picture of something, you have to adjust the light because it always wants to go to the whitest, brightest thing, and everything else can become dark. It's the same thing. So if you're only wearing white, it's gonna focus on what you're wearing. If you wear black, black recedes to the background and you will look smaller. So I suggest wearing solid colors. You can wear small prints, but by wearing a solid color, you act as a color block for the other person's eye to stop, to focus in on you and not be distracted by different prints such as this. You don't want to wear prints. You're already in a print. Now you're going to put a print on a print. So I look at it as a painting. And so this is where the painter wants you to look at the solid color block in that center third of the painting. Lastly, step 5 is I have what I call Zoom specific makeup. And it's just a couple of steps. I understand not everybody wears makeup, but it'll help act as a bullseye. So people will look at your face. They're going to be forced to look at your face. They're going to see your eyebrows, or if you wear rimmed glasses, you want your cheeks to look a little higher because of the blue light. You look kind of sallow. You kind of sometimes look like you have a unit-chin. Your chin just kind of goes into your neck. So by giving a little definition under your cheekbone, not on your cheekbone, because again, the camera picks up what is light and brings it to the foreground. So if you leave the highest point of your cheeks white or non-blushed or contoured, they will go to the foreground and look higher. And the same thing I do under the chin line or at the chin, right on the bone, is I darken the chin so it creates a line of shadow and just kind of go underneath so that there is definition between the front of your face and under your chin. This is actually a really simple example of, we did a Zoom makeover. So I think her visual looks really clean, pleasant. She's got her branding. The NW is her branding. But we put makeup on half of her face, on where the arrow is shining. So on her left side, on our right side. And what you could notice is her cheekbone looks higher and her jawline looks slimmer. It just creates a little more definition to give your face a focal point. And we were testing lipsticks on quarters of her lips and we didn't quite finish, but you need to have a little bit darker lipstick so that it acts like a bullseye to your lips. So these are benefits of a Zoom makeover. And you can see going through the 5 steps, the most important thing is I want to increase your client's engagement with you when you're on a Zoom call so that you are front and center. They're not distracted with other things. It helps improve your rapport with them so that they can really feel that you appear more trustworthy when you have a better rapport. And as a personal branding image consultant, I am really keen on helping you up-level your personal brand, the way people remember you. People will know, wow, she always looks great on Zoom, or wow, she always looks really bad. So that's one of the things I try to do. Bottom line, let's increase your bottom line. But if you want to increase your bottom line, you're going to need to work this up backwards. You're going to have to up-level your brand. You're going to have to appear more trustworthy. You're going to have to improve your rapport on Zoom, and that will increase your client engagement. It kind of is a circle here. So I do Zoom makeovers 3 different ways. I do individual sessions. So it's a 90-minute session. And this is, we go through all 5 steps, and you've seen before and afters. I do small group workshops for like a small company or like groups in companies. I've worked with actually a lot of financial services companies, and they gather small groups for me, or I've actually had a couple of girlfriend groups, you know, happy hour cocktails, Zoom makeovers, there we go. And I also do corporate presentations to companies large and small. So I want to leave you with this quote, because I think it is so apropos for where we are in COVID right now, that life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, because we all know that it's going to be around for a while. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. And I think by doing this, helping you with your Zoom, you are learning to dance in the rain. And with that, I thank you very much. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. So if anybody wants to contact me, feel free, I would love to. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and let's see. Thanks. Any questions? I'm happy to.
We have about 10 minutes for questions. So go ahead and raise your hand, and Shelley will recognize you. Did I see Kay's hand raised? Yes.
Hey.
You gotta unmute. The phone is.
I can't see myself, so I just see a frozen picture of myself, so I have no idea what's there.
You could see you.
After you talked, or while you were talking, I raised my my iPhone a little higher. I don't know. I can't see what I look like because I don't know what's happened. Something interesting that I thought about while you were talking, I really liked Renee's glasses, and I'm nearsighted, so I can't see the computer when I put my glasses on, but I like these glasses. So my daughter introduced me to blue light glasses. But she gave me a really ugly pair, which I don't want to be seen. So I plan to get blue light glasses, clear lenses, but with this frame. So.
Yeah, no, actually blue light, these are blue light glasses. They're super important for your eyes. And I am a proponent, especially if you have light hair, to have a little bit darker rim around your glasses. Just because this way you could actually, it acts as a bullseye, like look here, okay, I want you to look here. I don't want you to look over here. I want you to look here. So let me show you all a way to position yourself, even though Kay, I know you, I don't know.
I can't see myself. I see a horrible picture.
So if everybody takes their hand, squeeze it together. Let's see, let me change my view. And you take this and you put it on top of your head. You would want to see a couple fingers, and a couple fingers are out of sight. That's how you know that you're positioned well. So what you might want to do is either change your move your your camera. Like I sit on 2 pillows to get myself at the right level. Whereas if I just have my computer, I don't need any pillows, but this is my monitor. So this is good. Oh, that feels better. But what you don't want is you don't want like the fullest part of your bust at the bottom, because they will physically be the closest thing to the camera and look bigger than they actually are, unless that's what you want. So guys can kind of go a little, a little lower down, but for women, you want to keep it again at the bottom of your armpit so that you see as much chest as possible without having the fullest part of your bust. Yeah, that feels better. So Kay, you'll have to adjust yourself a little bit.
When you have power, Kay.
When I have power, and now I'm going to have to go charge my phone because it's starting to die. So
Okay.
Okay.
We'll be recording the rest of it, Kay, and you'll get a copy.
All right, let me show you something. Let me show you.
Okay, now I see myself with bright light. It's ridiculous. Okay.
let me show you some Zoom tips. So I'm really more of the visual person. So this is, if you go, you know where if you wanted to turn your camera off, it says stop video. And next to it, there's an up caret. Everybody click on the up caret. Now Zoom updated and click on video settings. Zoom updated about 2 months ago. So some people might be updated, some people will not be updated. But under your picture, there's some boxes that you can check off. So you definitely want to check touch up my appearance. And what that does is it takes off a few years. Kind of visual.
Important.
If you have been updated, you might not know that you've been updated. You will have a slider. Does anyone have a slider?
I do.
To it? Okay, so you can slide it and you'll notice that you'll get blurry, but everything else gets blurry also. But it softens your skin. So nice. Now, for those who have been updated, underneath, you'll see where it says adjust for low light. If you're not updated, you won't see that. There's auto and manual. So the bonus is if you put it on manual and you play with the toggle, in the winter when it's really dark, you can lighten up your whole room, including yourself. So that's a huge bonus for times, early morning meetings or, in winter when it's getting a little dark. So personally, I keep it on auto. It seems to have everything well balanced. So if you want to close out of that, those are just a couple settings that are really great to have. Let's see, any other questions? Karen.
Okay, I have a couple. What is blue light glasses? Are they available on readers, and what actually do they do?
They block the UV lights. I don't know if they're available in readers. These are prescription. I finally just got a new pair that aren't so heavy. But it really blocks the blue light. You also, I've heard, I haven't done the research on this, you want to wear sunscreen on your face because apparently the UV lights coming from the computer, if you're sitting all day, is not so good on your skin.
Okay, so that leads into my second question. Excuse me, I have a cold. I was doing a Facebook Live and I wanted the light coming at me from my window, and I have to wear glasses so I can see my readers, so I can see what I'm doing with the controls on a Facebook Live. But what happens is on my glasses is you see the shutters that's in my window. Is there a way to remedy that? Because I have to have my glasses on.
Are you sitting at a desk?
Right now I'm sitting at a desk and I'm at an angle. Oh, you mean when I'm doing the Facebook Live? No, I'm standing and I'm trying to face the window because of the lighting. I am investing in some of the lights from Amazon. I'm in the process of that right now. Yeah. But will that give me the option to get rid of standing in front of my window so you don't see shutters reflecting in my glass?
You know what you might want to do, and it's extremely technical. Like get a board, get a poster board, put it in front of, if you kind of position your camera, okay, and you can kind of see, you might want to put a large poster board, put it in the window behind the shutters so that the light coming through is around the poster board.
Oh, okay.
So that it's coming from above as opposed to from inside what shows in the box. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, thank you.
So if you've got a big window, and Renee, I know you have this as well, but you have the doors, by putting something there, the light will come from around here as opposed to here.
Got it. And then the other question is the faux backgrounds that a lot of people use. Is there something you can do to stop it looking like your hair has a party underneath? It's flowing around and jumping up and down.
So if I suggest buying a green screen.
Okay.
And the green screen that I recommend, I did some research, it's the easiest one. It literally kind of pulls out of this like a frame, like a banner.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are, there's two widths. You definitely want the wider width because you don't want your banner to show up and be this wide.
Right.
and then you see all the things over on the side. You want that banner, I think it's like 56 inches wide, so that it's out of the visual. Does that
Got it.
make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Do you have a manufacturer for that, Shelley? Or
I could send it to you if you want to follow up.
perfect. I'll share that with people.
I have two different ones. You know, they're different price points.
Mhm.
You know,
I have
Yeah.
a question. So I know that in some of the Zoom trainings I've done, I suggest that people either sit up straight or sit on a high stool because it creates more energy. What do you do? Because most of us are in chairs and it's easy to slouch over time. So do you recommend a certain kind of chair or how to position yourself that way?
Me again, most people are kind of making do with what they have. I'm sitting on a dining room chair, but I actually, I quite often have my legs out this way because it helps me keep my torso up straight as opposed to leaning back, which I think is really super important, that you lean in a little bit so you look engaged, because that's the thing about Zoom is you move 2 inches. If you and I were sitting at a table and I crossed my legs to the right, you wouldn't notice. Or then I needed to cross my legs to the left, you wouldn't really notice. Or just kind of sit back in my chair a little bit, all of 6 inches this way or that way, and I shrink to half the size. So I feel it's really important to sit up straight and lean in without leaning just your head and neck in, because I am so attuned to neck injury. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I think what I'm going to do is, because I'm sitting in a desk chair, and I think I'm going to find a pillow or something for the small of my back, because I think that will help me have some support there without having to feel like I'm sitting up straight and thinking about it all the time.
Yeah, and you don't really want a down pillow.
No. No, that'll squish even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So let's see. Any other questions? Yeah, Pat.
Somebody told me that if you wear glasses, if you get that reflection in your glasses, that you should wear push the arms up higher rather than over your ears, and you won't get that reflection. Have you found that to be true?
Well, some people have progressive lenses, so it doesn't really always work. I mean, not everybody can do that with the shape of their glasses, or if they've got, how their lenses are.
Okay.
But the thing is, if you change the direction of the light, so like I have 2 lights on my left, 2 lights on my right. So I'm going to just show you, this is one of my lights. I have lots of Post-its on it. And if this little piece needs a Post-it, I've got another Post-it. I could just move it, bring it, kind of change it. And so, but it's up here. See, let me turn that light back on. So look, if I don't have any Post-its, that's the light on my face. It looks like I have a spotlight. So then I slowly bring one pink, one yellow, another pink. Oh, that looks good. Okay, I think I'll leave that. But the light is up here. I have another light up here, and they're shining down on my face.
Okay.
So by shining down on my face, look what would happen. You can see the reflection if I had the light even with my eyes. The light is in my glasses. But by having the light down or having it up, you don't see it. Does that help?
That helps. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I don't see any hands. So let's give.
I do want to say, because I see, not that anybody has, well, let's see, Yvonne has books. So I just want to say a couple things about books. First of all, you want all of your books vertical. If you keep them all vertical and pretty much kind of tight together, think of a library. When you go into a library, they're all perfectly vertical and they become benign. Nobody can see the titles. You don't want some to the left, some to the right, some horizontal, some. If you can just put your books vertical, it becomes benign. And again, as I said in my slides, if you have it tall on the outside and bring them shorter on the inside, it's acting like an arrow toward your eyes. Another thing that I do, and Renee knows this, so like even if you look at my visual, I try to create lines of perspective. So like I have this flower here for a specific reason. So if this circle is over here, my new glasses happen to be kind of circular, and I've got another circle over here. And then kind of going up, there's the edge of my cabinet. So there's this diagonal here, and my eyes are in the middle of that diagonal. I'm showing you where I want you to look. So my sign, I just got this weekend. So I'm kind of playing with the position of it. But the plant, which you can't see, but the plant I actually have leaning in. Again, so it's leaning into me as opposed to leaning away from me. So these are ways to help people look at you. If you've got things on the wall, you want to have them tall up here and then come down.
Real good. Okay, so let's give Shelley a hand. Thank you so much, Shelley, for being here. Really appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. I put my contact info in the
Perfect.
chat. You know, if anyone...
And would you put your pricing there as well, if that's okay? What I'll do is when I share this on our webpage, I'll just mention that to contact you for if they're interested in sessions.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, so yeah, Renee?
So I have to say, Shelley is so worth the time and the investment. As you can see, I have a perfect display in my office. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually still working on it. It is a process. When I first met her, I was like jolly on the spot to want to get everything organized, but it really, really is a process because it is our workspace and we have muscle memory in this space. So see that? She doesn't like that there. However, it's something that I use, and I had moved it, and then I'm like getting my 10,000 steps in just to access my information across the room. So I thought, okay, I'm going to see how I position myself in front of it so it's not as apparent to everyone, right? But I will say it's kind of like any other coach, right? When I first opened up my screen and I saw that I had these papers, this shovel, I'm like, oh, Shelley can't see that there, so I moved it. but
as Renee and I have been working, if you recall, she had this photograph behind her, and that's what my eye kept going to the photo behind her.
Remember, I had the big Einstein back there.
And so that was the distraction. The colors weren't on brand for her. I just thought it was too distracting. Whereas this, now when you look at Renee, you look at Renee. You're focused on Renee.
Awesome.
But it's been, even, I have to say, like having the computer lifted, I have 2 laptops and putting them up higher, it's been so much better on my neck and my posture and just the work that I do all day. So I got a different chair, right? But like I said, it's been a process, because I found that I wasn't sitting correctly ergonomically. Once I lifted my computers, I had to do something with my bottom, right? Because my bottom was sitting on the floor. And so, but it's actually been a great experience, and we continue to refine and work at it. So it's kind of a cool process. I actually really like it. And I think this is my 3rd or 4th presentation, 3rd time, I think, and then we had one-on-one. So, but Shelley's going to also help lay out the studio. So stay tuned. We're all going to look good when we come in there.
Take before and afters.
Yeah. Oh, the before is awful. Ask Pat,
that's the whole point, though.
Ask Jamie. She's like, this is like a suicide trap in here.
Okay, ladies, well, thank you. We're going to do a really quick 1-minute commercial around the room. And Shelley, you're welcome to stay. We just usually at our networking events give a chance to share what's going on with our businesses and that kind of thing. But again, thank you for your time today. Really enjoyed it. My 2nd time. And everybody do something based on her advice, because we can all do better than what we've got, right? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so why don't we start with Pat Godkatan. We're going to do 1-minute commercials to wrap up our meeting. And go, girl.
Okay. Again, I'm Pat Kakatan from Feng Shui. The most exciting news that has happened for me is that my book is now out on print, so you can order it as a paperback book now. I have been getting a number of sales, and I'm just pretty excited about it. People have discovered that defending your happy place, since we're in this time of COVID and things are kind of sad, they need to regain that humor and positivity. So a bunch of people have been ordering it as Christmas gifts for their friends. So pretty excited about that. Other than that, I am working toward a lot of things in the mastermind, Susan, and I'm happy to be refocused on marketing and getting better. And even this class has really helped today. So there's work to be done.
There's work to be done. So did you get the email that I sent this morning about maybe meeting up later this week?
Yes, but I was on a couple of Zooms.
Oh, that's right. You were. You're busy. So I'll wait to hear from you a little bit later.
Okay.
But thanks for being here.
Okay.
Let's go to Kay before she loses her phone power.
I'm sorry you're going to be hearing the generator. Do you hear
Oh,
it?
I do hear the generator. That's
Because I'm plugged in at the generator in the kitchen.
whatever works.
Okay.
We thought you were making a smoothie.
I'm Kay Pena, and my business is Caregiving Naturally. I care and help women and their families learn how to use essential oils to improve their wellness naturally. For more information, you can go to my website, kcaregiving.com. It's far better to take care of your wellness than be forced to take care of your illness. My other business is Juan Pena's Studio, and we've just done the final touches on Juan's first book about watercolor. Interestingly enough, the talk today that Shelley gave had a lot of information that's in Juan's book. And one of the particular ones was about directional flow, about using the books to point to you as a center of interest. And so it's a great book. However, I'm having a lot of computer problems right now. Apple's word processing is driving me crazy. And I need the internet to use Time Machine so I can go back to a correct version. So Juan still has his free 12 painting classes online. So you can go to his website, paintwithjuan.com.
Yay. Now, when you mentioned Time Machine, are you using the Wayback Machine?
No, it's Apple calls it a time
Okay,
machine.
they've got
What
Apple.
it'll give you every version that you ever made, and there's probably 500 versions of his book. So I have to go back a few versions because the formatting got all wacky, and I was trying to do something with Apple on their, contacting them. Spent an hour and wasn't any help. But anyway, I can go into Time Machine.
Yeah, so and if you don't have Apple, we use the Wayback Machine. So if you ever lose a page from the internet, it's kind of a cool free thing. Okay, Yvonne. Oh, you gotta mute, unmute.
There we go. Hi, everybody. So I have a really fun thing that we're doing this that we started this month, and we're having a writing contest. And so our writing contest is focusing on flash fiction and short stories. And whoever wins the contest, their story will be published in our short story collection that's going to be published in March. And it's called From the Ordinary to the Extraordinary. So it's taking an everyday event and giving that twist to make it extraordinary. So an example of flash fiction, I have one here. It's from Ernest Hemingway. For sale, baby shoes never worn. And it's just that one sentence, and you can take that one sentence and your mind just explodes and all these different possibilities of what that can mean. And so it's really kind of cool. I've just discovered flash fiction recently. My husband, who is a published author, is a great fan of flash fiction. So we decided to include that in our collection that publishes in March. So if you know anybody who would like to try their hand at at flash fiction or short story, encourage them to visit our website and submit their story. You know, it doesn't cost them anything except for their time, and they'll get some fun party swag and, you know, possibly win the contest. So I'm Yvonne with the Pirate Heart Press, and I'm really excited to do this contest, and I hope that we get a lot of entries. We've already received some, and so I'm really excited about it.
When's the cutoff for the contest?
In December, mid-December.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll be
Renee.
fun.
Hi, I'm Renee Balcom, and I am a professional healthcare advocate, and I have a couple of businesses, but I'm going to talk about a project that I'm getting ready to launch, and it's a group of booklets. I'm actually a healthcare advocate and work with family caregivers in educating them on how to maneuver through the healthcare system. So I'm starting out my first book, and I'm working with Yvonne, and I'm so excited about it. It's called The Language of Care. And so it's all about the technical languages that we hear about the business of care. And I'm on a quest to just continue to enlighten people and educate them about care. As we age, as our parents age and our grandparents age, we have a lot to learn. So I'm excited about this project. Like, I needed a new project, but I'm excited about it. And I'm just so excited that Yvonne's going to get me through it. So Renee,
I'm so happy for you. It's going to be a great adventure.
Yay, good idea. Good idea. Okay, let's go to Jamie.
I'm sorry about that glitch. Apparently my internet got turned off by something. I don't know if it's the neighborhood or just me, but I'm back. I'm Jamie Perry. My business is JS Perry Studio. And I just want you all to know that I have been taking some time to practice what I preach. I've been working on my paintings and my collages, and I'm really very excited that these fingers are getting itchy again to create. It's been 2.5 years, and you all have been a major, major, major part of this. And I thank you and appreciate you all so much.
Good to see you, Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you.
great news.
Karen,
Hi,
after a
everybody.
long lost absence, we're glad to see you again. What's going on?
Thank you. Well, I'm back in the saddle, so to speak. Excuse me. I'm Karen Schriefer with Treskin RX, and most of you all know about the organic grade medical aloe vera based products. But what you don't know about is the great supplements we have that are all natural, because we have a great doctor that's behind the programs of the different things needed. And one of the latest is 2 supplements. One's called Chill and one's called Vacation. And they both have ashwagandha in it. And I'm not going to go into great detail on that, but you can Google ashwagandha and see the benefits. I am in love with the Vacation one because we all need a vacation, especially now. We're going to really need one in another week or so. And so you can take one of these. Don't take it before you go to bed, because it keeps you alert, but keeps you great, calm, focused. It's really a weird kind of supplement, in my opinion, because I've never taken anything that has had that effect, which I love. So let me know if you want more information about Chill or Vacation. Chill is something to take in the morning. Vacation, like around 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sounds good. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So for me, as you know, I've been in technology for 50 years. I've been leading a lot of mastermind classes and the Widget Wednesdays, because my motto is, where there's a will, there's a widget. There's a computer widget that will help you save time, make more money, make your life easier. And so glad that we're embracing Zoom as one of our widgets, so that we can now be in more places than just a networking room. We had a Widget Wednesday a couple of weeks ago, which really kind of gave me another insight into this, because we talked about the widget between your ears. And that some of the times we don't use that widget as much as we could. Had really good feedback from the Mojo talk I gave a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that has come up is, one of the things that gets in the way of a lot of people is fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of what's going to happen next week. There's just a lot of fear going on. And fortunately, I had a mentor show up in my life at the perfect time. Pat knows this because she's known me forever. And this has really helped. I call myself fear-free, not fearless, because fear-free is a choice. So probably next month on a Widget Wednesday, I'm going to launch probably a 2-part series because there's a lot to pack into this. I'm going to share what my mentor, Bert Moses, shared with me about being fear-free. And I think if you are suffering from that, it would really help because it helped me. It transformed my life. So if you're interested in that, I'll be posting that on my website, excelnetworks.com, and looking forward to that as well as future masterminds. Okay, let's give everybody a hand. Done with 4 minutes to spare. That's awesome. So as a recap, meeting live in 2 weeks. We will have a Zoom option. Again, there's no guarantee the Zoom option will work because technology is not perfect, but we will give it a go. If you are interested in attending, we'll put information somewhere. I'd probably be on the website about requesting a trade table. I don't know how many will be available. We are going to try and keep the social distance. Likely you will need to bring your own drape because to save on the cost, we're not asking them to drape those tables, but we should have more information in the next day or two. Kay, if you have a few minutes, I want to talk to you as a board member. For everybody else, if you have any thoughts about the meeting, so the plan is November 10th is going to be our next live meeting. There is not going to be meeting on the 24th via Zoom because it's the week of Thanksgiving, so get a break. Week after that, the next meeting after that is going to be December 8th, which I'm hoping is going to be our gift exchange because we always love that. We'll be back live, so that'll be more of a social thing than a commercial thing. And then again, break through the rest of the year because of Christmas and the holidays. If you are interested in joining leadership, we are actually having our November elections on the 8th. So I may be calling a few of you to see if you'd like to join the team because we've been able to make through this whole unexpected COVID shutdown thing because of the board. The board has stayed engaged. They've been supportive. They've been, making decisions based on, we don't know what's going to happen, but we got to do something. So if you are interested in continuing with that leadership and keeping PWN strong, because we only lost maybe a dozen members, but we also gained new members like Yvonne. You came on during the midst of COVID. So we are continuing to grow and stay vital. And I'm really excited about continuing that in 2021. So again, if you're interested in joining the board, reach out to me or any board member and say, let me know more. So do you have any final parting words, Shelley, before we let you go into your busy day?
Just that it's so important that this is your first impression. That's what people see. That's what people will remember you by, and literally first impressions, I think these days are more important than ever because it's not just you, it's you in your box.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, again, thank you very much, Shelley. I'll look forward to posting your information on Facebook and I will tag you if you want to make any comments after that.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. So Kay, if you will stay on with me, Renee, I will call you probably in about 10 minutes if that works for you.
Good. Hey,
Okay.
I wanted to tell you, Drew and I are going to go over to Randy Peters and check the bandwidth there.
Okay.
We should know, we're going to do that next week. So we'll know well in advance whether or not the Zoom, because I think it's important to let the people in Zoom know you will be able to access this. So, but he said he's got a thing that can gauge the bandwidth. He just wants to go over and check that. So,
Perfect. Yeah. So keep us posted. Looking forward to that. So
Okay.
I'll call you after. Kay, I'll check on you and everybody else. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy some sunshine. Get out of your Zoom room. Spend a little time outside. Thank you, Shelley. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye.
Okay, so I don't
Do
know.
you want to keep recording?
Oh, thank you. No need to. It was nothing secret, but I think that's good to stop.